Passing through the veil of mystery, seeking answers no one is brave to ask. This is Bound to Truth.
Hey everybody, this is Chris with Bound the Truth. I have a very, very special guest today, which obviously you're seeing him right now because I split screened it. Usually I don't do that, but you know what? He is such a good looking guy. He is such a stud. He is gorgeous. He has perfect jawbones. He has perfect cheekbones that I am envy of. My goodness, Lord in heaven, Zander Roy. Now, before I have Zander speak, I'm going to give a little bit of an intro about Zander, and then he can fill in the gaps in between. So, Zander Roy. Zander Roy is known
hmm
for stories from the grave, afterlife research, the Hazard Files, the Black Diamond Files, as night swallows the day. He's also a very, very successful musician, psychiatrist, all the above.
hmm
This guy can do it all, and blessed to have him on the show. And you're probably all wondering out there, how did I meet this wonderful, wonderful man? How did I get this blessing to meet this individual? How am I, out of all the people, had to draw the straw to meet this gentleman? And afterwards, should have told myself, hell, I should have bought a lottery ticket. Xander Roy, buddy, how are you doing? What's
I'm
happening?
doing I'm doing good, Christopher, and I appreciate the kind words. That was very, very sweet of you.
Absolutely,
Very sweet
buddy.
of you.
Absolutely. So I did a bit of a I hope a generous intro of who you are a bit.
Yeah.
Before we get into the things that we're going to talk about, everybody's going to inquire, what are we talking
hmm
about today? What's going on? He's got ghost research. So what about this? Well, obviously, I want you to know about who he is. He's going to share about that, but also the projects that's going on and how we've connected. But Xander, is there anything I missed in addition to your wonderful accolades?
No, but I'll correct you real quick just for because a lot of people do this though. I'm actually a licensed psychotherapist as opposed to a psychiatrist. A
Okay.
psychiatrist is an MD. They're a medical doctor. Those are the people you go see when you need the really good pills. You know.
Ah,
Um,
gotcha, gotcha. I should put this.
yeah.
I should put a disclaimer on, please. Whatever he says to here is not endorsed, condoned, or condemned by Bound to Truth podcast.
Yeah. And it's funny though because I've been a psychotherapist now for 19 years, and I get people ask me all the time, like, how did you get into that? It's like, well, I knew in high school. Actually, I knew in junior high school that I was really good at helping people because I was always helping all my friends. They're breaking up with their girlfriends or boyfriends. They'd always go to Xander. Oh, go talk to Xander. He'll make you feel better. So it was kind of like a thing. And then when I got into high school, it really just kind of blossomed. And I kind of took, I decided and I put my foot down and I was like, I'm going to do this and take it seriously. And then once I did that, once you commit to something and you start to visualize it, it kind of manifests and it comes true.
Mm, yeah.
So I ended up, I remember my sophomore year, I got pulled into the principal's office, and my guidance counselor was in there, and she's like, her name is Mary. And Mary said, so we have a couple of things we want to talk about. I said, okay. And she said, um, we have this program where you qualify for, which you can excel, um, and you can get through high school early. You can still graduate with your class. All this. So I said, oh, okay. So she presented. Long story short, I got in. I actually graduated a year early,
Right.
and then my right into my senior year, she pulled me in. She goes, I got great news. And she handed me a letter, and I got an 8 year fully paid scholarship ride to University of Washington.
Wow.
And
Incredible.
8 years, usually it's like four. And they saw all this, that they saw what I was trying to become. And
Mm,
they thought that I would be really good in the sociology or psychology department. So because I did all these different programs and I did all this, extra kind of curricular internship with like therapists and stuff that a lot of people didn't do. I just was very driven with that. So long story short, did that. And then um, it's kind of weird too, because when you were talking about Stony Bone Child, my first band,
Hmm.
which was in the big grunge days in the 90s,
Hmm.
it's that whole time was like, man, and I know if people are listening and they're from Seattle and stuff, they know that like every night of the week, it was like Liverpool. It was so unbelievable. It was like, and you know this, Chris, it was like LA in the 80s.
Oh, Sunset Strip type of thing, and so
Yeah, like
yeah,
there's
the
every night,
Roxy, yeah.
but Friday and Saturday nights weren't separated from every other night because every single night there was like thousands of people everywhere, bands playing everywhere. And like I remember just watching my buddies' bands get signed left and right because once they discovered Alice in Chains and like Soundgarden, the big boys, they sent everybody here to try and find the next ones. And
Right.
we managed to get we managed to get a 5 album deal, which we boiled down to three, and we did 2 albums, and the band broke up. But man, I got to tour the country. I got to, I got to open up for Blue Oyster Cult. I was
No,
like, ah,
I didn't know that. Are you kidding me? Are you
no, dude.
serious?
And they loved us so much. Check this out. They loved
Yeah.
us so much. They took us out on tour for 6 weeks, and we went from here to New York with Blue Oyster Cult.
Did you tell them, hey, BOC, we don't fear the Reaper?
Every night, I'm like, hey, baby, don't feel the Reaper out
That's
there.
awesome, man. Wow, that is awesome.
Yeah.
You know what? A side note with you, I don't.
Hmm.
This is an older band, or I would call it a boyish band, but they play instruments. Oh my gosh, what's that? What's that? Oh my God, I'm blanking right now.
Were
The
they
one
like a
that
boy band?
it's back in the 70s, 60s, 70s. They did the song Saturday Night, Saturday
Oh
night.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um.
What were they called?
Oh my gosh, I'm blanking.
Was it? I keep thinking the Roller Boys or something like that,
Oh,
or
oh my
Bay
gosh,
City Rollers.
yeah,
Bay City
thank you. Bay
Rollers.
City Rollers, thank you. So Ian Mitchell, this is back in California. This is really before I moved here. I met Ian Mitchell through his wife, who was a client of mine back in the day, and we
Yeah.
actually I jammed one time with him. Now, let me tell you something. This guy was awesome, and I jammed with him, and that guy could drink me on the table. And he was like half my weight. You know, you know,
Yeah, right.
don't mess with. And that guy wore a kilt too. Like he was
Mm,
proud wearing a kilt. Unfortunately he passed away. But he was just such a great guy and so forth and all that and all that. Um, but that's really cool, man. I didn't, it's funny after knowing you for what, over about a year, over a year now, at least a little over a
yeah,
year.
over here now.
Yeah, and
Yep.
I didn't know about that. So this is the first time that actually, sadly, on a podcast talking about more personal type of thing.
Yeah, but
And
I
you know
mean,
what? That's on
I
me, man. I've always made it about me and our conversations because I'm a sad human being.
dude.
But you know what though?
Oh,
What I love about you and I want the audience to know about there is Xander's always had a great heart. He's got great intuition, in what he
yep.
does in his work, and that makes sense. Him being a musician, why he's been so successful in the music world, plus other endeavors which we're going to talk about today, is that
Yeah.
he just has a great sense of about people, places, and things. And so,
Yes.
again, everybody, this is a great treat episode. We're blessed to have his presence here, and hopefully many other episodes to come, as long as it's warranted and with his time because he's a very busy person. So Xander,
Yeah.
so Xander, we
Yes, my
talked,
dear.
yeah. So let's talk a little bit of origin. We were talking a little bit about the music part of it, what you've done, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So let's talk about you. Where you're from. You talked about the music and what got
Yeah.
you on this field with the paranormal, and we'll kind of go from there and ask questions in between.
Sure. So I born and raised in Everett, Washington, and I was just telling a buddy that I'm like, you know what? I know this area so well that you could blindfold me and I could freaking smell my way around.
Hmm.
Like I'd be like, okay, we're in South Everett. Yep, turn left here. All right, there's the QFC. It's like But
Blindfold.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like the benefits of living in a town all your life. I've moved out several times to different little juxtaposed cities, but um, which brings me to my parents got divorced when I was 9, and then when that took place, my mom kind of did her own thing, and so did my dad. So it
Mm.
left me and my brother, which he was 4 years younger than I was. So my job then began to, I kind of took the part of my father and like was, raising my brother. And my grandmother, who was my father's mother, um, oh my gosh, this woman, she, she basically designed and made me who I am as a person,
Mm.
how I treat others. Like she would come over after school and take us over to her house, and she would teach us how to cook, and just she would read to us and just all kinds of things, really just really deep intellectual kind of expansion kind of things. And I remember one thing about her. She died many many years ago. She died when I was 14, which will bring me to this point, which brings me to
Okay.
the paranormal. But
Gotcha.
I remember one thing about her that was very that just is very clear to me, is the way that she spoke to me and the way that she treated me. And it wasn't like a kid. She treated me and spoke to me like I was an adult. And that was, I think that was very important for me and to me. Um, so fast forward, my grandparents retired and they moved up to a little town north called Concrete, Washington.
Mm.
And, and they got a little mobile home on the river, on Skagit River. And my grandpa was a big fisherman. And
Beautiful
my
area.
grand yeah, and so I used to go up there on the weekends with my friends all the time, and we go fishing and steal beers, and go on weird adventures in the woods, just being boys.
Right.
And I remember I was living with my father at the time in Bellingham, and my dad got a call, and my stepmom was out of town, and my dad was just sitting on the couch, and he just put the phone down, and he said, "Hey, bud, come here." And I said, "Yeah." And he sat down. He just had this look on his face. And I'll never forget that look. And it was just a very sullen, very non expressive look. And I could just see him welling up. And I'm like, "Dad, what's up? What's up?" And he said, "Your grandmother passed away."
Mm.
And it was very unexpected. She was in the kitchen with her apron on making dinner. And she turned to my grandfather and said, my grandfather's name's Roy. And she said, "Roy, I don't feel good." And she dropped before she hit the floor. She was dead. And
Wow.
yeah, it was very strange. Anyway, so it took me a couple months. I had that because I was very close to her and I was mourning her. And then I went up to go see my grandfather. And I just remember him and I hanging out for hours talking and stuff. And I built a fire. And my grandpa came out and he cracked open a Rainier beer and he handed it to me and he goes, "You're old enough. Go ahead." And I'm like, "Little do you know I'm sneaking in your wild turkey every other night," which I thought was funny. So I'm sitting by the fire, and I remember I kicked my shoes up on the fire,
Yeah.
just sitting there and reminiscing. And the fires. I don't know if most people. Well, I think most people feel this, and I think you do, Chris. When you're like out camping, you build a fire. It's like there's something about the crackle of the fire and the way it just dances. You just kind of hypnotizes you.
Yeah. It's
And
therapeutic for sure. There's some
very,
peace behind it. It feels very natural around the surroundings for sure.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I was sitting there, and all of a sudden, I seen this, like this white silhouette
Mm.
cross in front of me. And it went so fast that it was like, it startled me for a minute, but I remember not being afraid of it. And I remember something just instinctually kicked into me. And it was very profound. And I was just like, I don't even know why I said it. I said, "Grandma, is that you?"
Hmm.
And then nothing happened. I said, "Grandma, if this is you, would you do something to let me know you're here?"
Right.
And like maybe 30 seconds later, there's a tree right by the right a huge mammoth cedar tree right by the fire pit. This huge branch broke off the tree and landed in the fire. And it was probably about 10 feet long, like probably a foot in diameter. It was huge and thick. There
Wow.
was no wind, nothing. And this was on command, mind you. And
Mm.
then I just remember the whole night for 3 hours, I just remember she was just there. And I would just say, Grandma, if you're here again, can you do something else? And all of a sudden, kind of it's almost like spirits, they're delayed on what they do. And we you and I've gotten into this before. Like when they try and communicate, or especially if you're trying to command them to do something, it's very
Mhm.
delayed.
Right.
And all of a sudden she just goes whoosh, like right in front of me and like very fast. And I remember just laughing and crying at the same time, going, I I get chills thinking about it. It was just like, I mean, it changed my life forever because that's what led me to becoming a paranormal investigator. When I went to college, I found a group in college, and I remember we used to go around with the old, big cassette tape recorders because there was no ghost hunting equipment, and
Right.
we'd go to weird places, and but yeah, dude, that's what started it for me, and that's I never looked back.
How old were you again when this happened? You said 14, right? When she
Yeah,
passed?
I just
Okay.
14. I was just turning 15, so.
So, when that experience happened, and the things that you've had that was just extraordinary, is that what really set you in the path? Or was it kind of like a start of it and then came back to it later, because you're doing all this music and other projects. So what really got you, sounds like that was the intro, but was that the big part that got you caveat to like that this is something I really want to
No,
really pursue? Okay.
it didn't, because I've all my life I have my hands and feet dipped in other things. I'm kind of a multitasker. I work better that way. I think it's an Aries thing in me.
Sarah,
But
hey, same here, buddy. Yeah.
it's just, man, it's like, it's if I'm multitasking, my brain works perfect. I'm like, yep, 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 yep. This is cool. Or if I bigger projects, if I got bigger things going on, I don't stress about it. I just for somehow a lot of people can't do it. I can. It's just I function
Yeah.
very good like that. But no, it was a very pinnacle moment for me. But at the time, I was still a teenager and stuff. So I kind of, it was always in the back of my mind. And I was like always interested in it, like, Googled it or whatever, like, you know,
Right.
how to speak to ghosts or whatever. But it really truly didn't, like, you know, start the whole thing for me. I mean, it did. It was the origin of my belief system, but
Mhm.
it didn't start my path, because I was doing other things, and then, going to school and stuff. And then,
Right.
getting into music, and then music took, it's almost like things, it's like life became a car, like certain things took backseat.
Yeah.
Some stuff was shotgunned, and so and they would kind of, it's like the car would stop and different things would take different positions.
Mm.
And like, ghost hunting, at that time it was kind of in the back, and then like music was in the front, because I was really trying to, you know I got a record deal, and I was really trying to make a thing out of it. Like, man,
And
I
build
could,
and build off that opportunity and
yeah,
to fund other passions and other multitask projects, maybe in a way.
exactly,
Right.
dude. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so it really didn't. And then until probably when, I'd have to say, when really, like, probably around like, I'd have to say like 24, 25, when I was starting to kind of figure life out, kind of on a path. And then I was like, okay, this is going to take a front seat now, because I need to pursue this. It's in me. I've got to do it, and it's fascinating, and I need, and another thing too, like all my life I've been afraid of death. And
Mm.
so I'm not, it's that's dwindled a lot through the years because of all the, time I spent investigating the things I've experienced, seen, and heard and felt. I know that there's something out there. I know there's another dimension.
So
Um,
let me ask you this. I
yeah.
just got a curious question. You had experience at 14 with your grandmother, right? With that,
Mhm.
so forth, and all these other things. And if you're like, there's an afterlife, what made you be afraid of death?
Um, and you know what, dude? Even to this day, it's like a loaded question for me, because like when I think about it, like now, like if I just be hypothetical and go like,
Yeah.
what if we got a beef on our phones and it said there was a bomb heading for us, and we had 20 minutes or
Mhm.
an hour or whatever? It's like 20 years ago, I'd be literally freaking out. Now I'd be like, it's just more accepting to me. Um,
Gotcha. And well, maybe the case too, if you're like 24, it's like, I have so much to do. I don't want to die yet.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure to speak on you, speak on behalf. I was just curious, like, if you're like, hey, I know afterlife exists, why am I
Yeah.
afraid? But maybe it's like, I still have plenty to do on this playing field. But okay, gotcha. I think,
Right. And dude, you're so right. Because it almost like took a different, it like took a different like outer line philosophy.
right.
Like it traded itself. It's like, oh my, the fear now switched from, oh my God, I'm afraid of that because is that it?
Yeah.
To, okay, now I know, but now I want to live and like experience and you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's a
Exactly.
really it's a really interesting thing. That was a good question. It was
Well,
a good question.
and I think it's like over the years of wisdom, right? The older we get, the lot more we get wise, and the more we kind of like, I've done this, I've done that. You and I are both musicians, right? We both had
Yeah.
a taste of that lifestyle, which it's fun. There's both pros and cons to that lifestyle, And I'm
Oh
sure
yeah, buddy.
I'm sure you and I both had some hard lessons into that, and and it's funny.
Yes, sir.
It's funny when I tell people, it's like, why don't you go to rock concerts? Aren't you a musician? Why don't you want to do that and so forth? I'm like, listen, there's two reasons. Number one, I burnt my batteries doing that because I played so many bloody shows. And number two,
Right.
I get jealous that I'm not on stage. So,
Two of the best reasons in the world, dude.
yeah,
Two of the
yeah,
and those would have been mine. Those are mine too, unless of course somebody like I haven't been to a concert in a long time unless it's somebody I really respect. Like
yeah,
like
exactly.
like I would go see Rush. They're minus a member now, God rest his soul too. But I grew up to Rush. Rush
Yeah.
is they're like in my pocket with my handful of favorites. So it's like that. It's really bands that really affected my life that I would go.
It,
Like if Prince was still alive and he was touring, I'd go see him.
You know
You
what?
know?
It's funny. If Prince was still alive, I would definitely watch him. I cannot believe that the things I saw Prince was so underrated compared to his actual talent.
Oh
Amazing
God,
musician.
dude.
And my favorite band, like I said, if I was going to a show, be AC/DC because
Hmm.
that's my favorite band of all time because I just love
Yeah.
how bluesy and rocky they are and have the energy of Angus Young and people ask me what's my favorite drummer, Phil Rudd. Like why? He plays simple because he does what's right for the song. That's a
Right.
very
He plays for the song. And
exactly.
that band, they're not they're it's like their songs are not hard to play.
No, it's
Like
not.
everybody can sit down and play them. But
But
it's the combination, it's the way they do it, and it's the vibe they create. And it's like,
well, it's funny when people's like, well, Kiss is the greatest show. People I'm like Kiss has to dress up. I like Kiss, but they dress up
yeah,
makeup to make up for their talent. They're not bad, but they did a great job. AC/DC,
yep,
they don't have to overly gimmick, and they just do it.
right. They
And
don't. They
yeah.
get out and rock. They are rock. They're rock. They get out
Oh
and
yeah.
rock, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
all they
Yeah.
do.
Exactly. So the next thing I want to get to too, with
Yeah.
all to talk about the bands and so forth, what really started you to kind of like you talk about that? I love that analogy with the back, with like driving a car and how things took a back seat. Like these interests are not gone, but there's certain things that are kind of put behind. When was a
Yeah.
turning time? The moment, the precipice of like, I want to start filming. I want to start doing this ghost hunting. This is now something I'm really drawn into and wanted to really pursue hard and put a full focus on it. What was that turning point for you to do that?
Turning point was for that. I have to safely say was probably I started that path in the car with the ghost hunting next to me, um, sitting in the following seat with you know, the convertible down and us going, okay, we're gonna drive now. We're gonna totally go. And if the road goes left, we're gonna go there. It goes right. So I think really when I started to get serious about it, like where I was investing time and like money and so much I've invested, probably I'd have to say probably like in my early 30s when I really started to go, okay, I've kind of went on my own a lot.
Mhm.
Um, all the shows were getting big, which I used to follow and stuff too, and
Right.
I know you did. And then that's when I first started like really started like my first group.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Where I like and it was just buddies, and we were just kind of it wasn't really anything serious, but even though it was for me, but I think for the, for the group itself, we just went out and just had fun, like go to a cemetery or go to
Well,
abandoned house or,
it's like a high school band, right? Like a musician, like any type of and I don't want to say entertainment. There's entertainment value to it, right? Because it's something that catches people's attention. I don't want to water down the ghost experience and so forth, but there is a shock value. There is, excite value, right? But like this, it's like, hey, I'm playing a garage band. I'm experimenting to find out what I like and I don't, and what works and what doesn't, and then kind of find your bearings. Am I kind of on the base a bit of that?
yes, 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 totally, dude. And then, you know, and then from there, it kind of just snowballed, really. And then I remember I was watching a documentary, and this is about probably, I think 7 or 8 years ago. And I went, you know what? I'm gonna. I think what happened is as I progressed and kept the car going forward,
Mhm.
things leveled up. They leveled. Do you know what I mean? They kept leveling up. Like, okay, I'm here. I've done this. Let's level up one more. Let's do this. And that's always been a drive of me. That's how I got a record deal. That's how I opened my own psychotherapy office. And
Right.
I've always been blessed with that. And it's all about visualizations, but um,
Agreed. I agree.
yeah. And then I started getting into, like, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start studying and just, self-educate and get into like making. How do I make a movie? I want to make a movie. And then I took some courses online and just,
Right.
stuff like that. And then it's just diving in, getting in the pool and swimming. And then, oh, okay, let's make this. Oh, okay, let's do this. And I started making these smaller little things, just having fun. And and then I would, and then that would take a backseat because I think other things, because life happens, that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
Don't we all, buddy?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
And it's kind of how that's how the car kept driving.
Yeah. So when you have this experimental like okay, I'm gonna start pursuing this part with the ghost hunting. This is something that like okay, this is my new focus, my new drive, right? I want to keep myself stimulated and do these things, right?
Yeah.
Um, so when you were doing that and the people that are involved, like you were kind of saying, is like, well, what was your drive? That they kind of fall back. Was it kind of like, hey, Xander, this is great, but I don't want to pursue this full time. Like, what kept you driven doing that? What kept you going?
Um, that's a good question too.
Because that
I'll
can feel
tell you, dude,
that can feel defeating. For me personally, but knowing you,
very much,
you're very more
very much.
you're very more optimistic than I am. Me, I'm like, oh, I'm a sad Catholic who can't get around anywhere, and I just don't want to hang out with me. Type of
Right.
thing. That's so.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's so funny,
but
dude.
I find you very
So
optimistic. I find you very optimistic.
I'm
You're a
very much.
human being, but you're very optimistic. So sorry, I didn't to
No,
interrupt,
no,
but go
no.
ahead.
It's that's a good question, and it's a good question because it makes me really think and dissect. And it's like I got let down so many fucking times where I'd build groups and I put money into it, and like,
Mhm.
you know, I was always consistently making pretty good money, and a lot of people weren't, or whatever the case. So I'd invest this and do this, and then all of a
Right,
sudden I'd have this group of 4 people, and then like 2 months later, everybody's like, "Oh, they got some great gear," because I just let them have some of the gear that they were using, and then all of a sudden I'm again by myself. But I think what didn't make me quit, or it's because I was so passionate, and I also had a historical value of driving things and knowing that if I keep driving, I'll get there.
yeah,
Like, and I learned that way early on. And then, like, when I got the record deal and, stuff like big achievements, and then like,
yeah,
become, and then, getting a master's degree is not very, it's not an easy task. A double degree is not an easy task, but it's
right.
things like that. And then what happens is that I think that builds your character, and then you kind of become Superman in a way where you're like, oh, okay, oh, you guys want to go your way? Fuck it, I'll keep going. I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
yeah.
I believe in this. I believe in this. No matter if you guys don't, or if this goes wayside, I still believe in it because I still have things I want to do. I started, and you know this too, as a paranormal investigator, which ghost hunters are different, and we can talk about that too.
Yeah.
You you start to you level up as you start to experience things. You start to get a little deep, like you get better, you get sharper. You're like all of a sudden you're like, I'm getting closer to the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
And my Holy Grail for paranormal is having that intelligent conversation with a spirit where they're answering back and we're talking. And I've had that close a few times, and then it just for some reason it drops. I want to know why it drops. So that like fuels me and makes me like, I'm just like, fuck this. No matter what, I'm gonna keep going because I know I can find it,
Right.
So it's a lot of optimism. It really is.
Okay, cool. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a quick pause on that. Guess what time it is? Pee break. Because my bladder is smaller than yours. I'll let people put their imaginations it is. But I'll tell you this, when I come back, I want to definitely talk about, I think the next great segue, when I take a pause, is talk about the difference between a ghost hunter and a paranormal investigator. Because by the way, audience, as much as I've known Zander, this is actually our first time. We've had deep conversations, but we never had deep conversations about this. So you're getting a natural reaction of our questions. So this is gonna be fucking amazing. So yes, I'm the first one to curse today. He didn't. I did because he's a lot more mature than I am. Yeah. So anyways, all right. So everybody hold tight. We're gonna take a quick little break and be right back. Hey everybody, we are back. I had to take a little tinkle back pee break because I'm 43 and old, and yeah, even though Xander is older than me, but he's got more seasoned and he's a lot more healthier than I am, and I'm just an old fart. But my hair is black.
Don't make up excuses, dude.
I know. Actually, that's actually really sad excuses. But anyways, so we're back. So the next subject, Xander, we're talking about before we took a break, is you mentioned something that's very interesting because I never asked this question before because you mentioned it. We talked about ghost hunters. We talk about popular ghost hunters like Ghost Adventures, Zach Baggins, and so forth, all those people. And you said there's a difference between ghost hunting and paranormal research. I would love to hear the difference of what you have to say about that. Please go for it.
Okay. And I'm going to keep this as blunt and frank as I can without like offending anybody that's out there listening, like, wait a second. But paranormal investigators have, well, let's just take the word investigator. It's a paranormal investigator to me is somebody who is just very, very thorough and very serious about. They've taken it very serious and they've taken it to that level. Ghost hunters are people that like, hey, Mary, what's Susan and Troy doing this weekend? Hey, do you guys want to go to that cemetery? Yeah, I think I have like a flashlight. We'll just see if we can talk to ghosts. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It's just like in the community that we've like us investigators, we've kind of earned because we've invested time, money, many hours, and it's there's no pun intended on either or. It's just, it's just that's the difference between the two. Ghost hunters are just kind of weekend people who go out and they have their flashlight and they just want to they do it to kind of be scared, and we do it because we're investigating. We're trying to make discoveries. We're trying to, level up. We're trying to, we're investigating, and that's the best way I can describe it.
Okay. So in a way to piggyback what you're saying is, and again, this is not to offend anybody. And honestly, to be honest, people are going to be offended no matter what, because everybody tries to find ways to be offended. And if you are that, I encourage you to see Xander about that.
Yeah. Just call my office. My people will get a hold of your people. I'll give you a discount. We'll just call it the Chode Pez Christopher discount.
That's right. There will be a link about that for a promo code for the Chopez discount with Zander Roy. I love it. But it feels like that ghost hunting has been more of shock value of like, oh, we heard the sound. What's going on here? Oh, there's a brick thrown. There was nothing wrong with that. I agree with you. There's nothing wrong with that.
None,
And and
none.
and
There's nothing wrong with it.
and to us as paranormal investigators, it's not just about what just happened. It's about why it's happening. What tragedy
Right.
happened here? What is
Yes.
trapped here? What's going on? And I want to go back to some of the films like Poltergeist, Poltergeist 2,
Hmm.
especially Poltergeist 2, right? There's a lot of interesting shock values to it, but I love how they dive deep into the history, even though it's fictional, or it could be, who knows, about why it's happening. And that's
Yes.
what intrigued me. It's not just about, oh my God, there's a monster, there's a ghost here, blah, blah, blah. Why is it happening? Why is this person being attacked? Why is this, why is this going on?
Yep.
And I think that's important to know because if everybody's like, I just need shock value and have my stimulus like entertainment for the day, that's fine and dandy, that's great. But for us, which and for you, I'm telling me if I'm off base here. It's like that's not enough. We want to understand why it's happening. We want to understand more of what's going on in the universe because that it's given us a bigger picture. That's something that's more than our own playing field because we have created in our society this I call it the matrix, this physical matrix of what we expect. This is what's been happening at work. You gotta do this. If you're not, you're a failure and that and so forth, all the jazz. And you and I,
Yep.
Xander, have private conversations. That's not what it's about. It's experience life in its full. And that's not just experience life about what is going on, what we see. It's what we feel, it's what we experience, and it's what we investigate. That is beyond this physical realm. And sorry
Right.
for my little manifesto because I do that at times. Forgive me. But I hope I'm kind of, on that base of what you're talking about. So, but anyway, so yeah.
No, I think that dude, that was very, it was very valid, and you gave it a different spin. Same ball, but you gave it a different spin. On there's no pun intended, but and it's and it's not like a ghost hunter is lesser than thou from a
Mhm.
paranormal investigator. It's just it was like a good example of like, oh, did you guys hear that? Oh, that kind of scared me. Okay,
Right.
like to us, it's like, oh, what was that? Where was that coming from? Why was that a
The,
female, a male? You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's like it's
Whose voices like we did with the Black Diamond, and I won't get too much away. George. You weren't like, oh,
George.
we got a voice that ain't George. Oh my gosh. You were like, who is George? Let me go
Yep.
investigate this. Let's talk more about this. Let's discover history. Maybe there's something that's not resting with the family or this person. Like there's an actual concern, not just with this life, but the next life. Just because someone passed away doesn't mean they don't matter.
Right. And it's going down the rabbit holes and
Exactly.
like connecting the synchronicities and like
Yeah.
I've always believed in life that there's no coincidences. There's always purpose for everything, which, leads me to maybe where you were going to go with this too is like, how did we all connect?
Correct.
It's like, and I get people ask me that all the time. It's like, I saw you guys' movie. My God, you guys have such chemistry together. It's like, you guys seem like childhood friends. It's like, well, I feel like I've known these two for all my life, and they're my brothers, and I love them. And this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's we kind of fell into each other's laps.
Right. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah, exactly. I won't I won't forget how this all happened. And this is tying to Xander, everybody, so bear with me on this one. So I started this podcast back in January 24 of 2024. That's my OCD mind. How do I remember? I don't know. I remember the most random things. And John was one of my first many interviews podcasts. And first time with John, and I said this before the podcast, he messaged me before, and I tried to get him on, and then he just ghosted me, and I was like, "What an asshole! Who's this guy?"
Ghosted.
Yeah, no pun intended. Rated R.
None, none, none.
But then later on, we reconnected through I think a family member or friend said, "Hey, you got to listen to Chris's podcast. It's pretty cool." and so forth. And then him and I just really hit it off and so forth. And I won't forget when John asked me, like we were talking, he's like, "Hey, listen, I got asked by this guy named Xander to go to do filming for Black Diamond, and it's going to be on a show." And all I asked with John was like, "Dude, can I come just to watch?" Because I've never been to one, right? I've never,
Hmm.
I've done some one-offs, ghost hunting, very amateur. And by the way, everybody out there, side note, if you go to a place where it's like, "Hey, for Halloween, we have a ghost hunting thing," let me tell you something. It's cool, but if you want to experience, keep a small group. Don't do a big group. It doesn't work really well.
Exactly.
I'm telling you right now, I learned that from the Queen and experience. It doesn't work that well. This is just me learning the hard way. I just want to give people that advice right now. But anyways,
Yep.
so I won't forget that. So we're going to Black Diamond. I've heard a lot about Black Diamond and so forth. And I won't forget when John's like, "Hey," and Xander, I'm gonna make fun of you a little bit. It's okay. You can make fun of me too. When
Hmm.
I'm like, who's this Xander guy, right? And he's like, "Oh, here's this guy with his equipment." And I won't forget, you're like, "Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah." I'm like, "Dude, this guy looks nuts, dude. I don't know, dude. Oh my God, his facial expression is like, I should tie my hair back. I don't know, man. I don't, bro. I don't know." And then when we
I
all
love
met,
it, dude.
dude, it was, no, seriously, I was like, all right, man, this goes south, dude. I don't know what's gonna happen. Because it's like our first date, right? It's like on the
Yeah,
first,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And we go out there, we meet you, and we meet, and, Steph on there and so forth, a friend of ours. And, Xander, I won't forget, you're just a hugger, and just, but it was such a genuine, like, "Hey, I'm Xander, what's
Oh
going on?"
yeah.
You were geared up from head to toe, legit. And I was like, "This fucker's the legit deal. Fucker has a badge,
He's not
man, of
fucking
ghost hunting
around.
on property, man." And it was really, really cool. It was like, man, I can match his crazy with my crazy, in different
Oh,
ways.
dude.
And all of
You
us,
just
that we're all crazy in different ways. And
and
we,
it's so
yeah,
funny you said that too. Just to interject real quick, because
yeah, go for
that is the perfect analogy of all of us. We all match each other's crazies.
Yeah, and we were crazy in different ways. It's like
Yeah.
it's like two people are sane, one is crazy. And if that person's sane, then one of the other people are crazy. It's a great trade-off. It's like hot potato of craziness, you know?
Yeah.
And
Um,
I won't forget the Black Diamonds we did were incredible. And I don't want to give it away, but I'll tell you this: when people see the film that Xander's putting together, amazing of the stuff that we discovered. And I will say this: that Black Diamond has such different personalities of what we went through
ooh.
those evenings. Anyway,
I mean,
sorry to overtalk. I got really passionate
no,
about it, and
you're
I got
good,
excited
dude.
about media. So
I mean, and to date now we have three films out. We've got,
yeah,
The Hazard Files Part One, which was released about 5 months ago, I think, 4 or 5 months ago. And then we just finished back to back the Black Diamond Files as Night Swallows Day and the Blue Mountain Project,
yeah,
which was Jonathan's directorial debut, which he did an amazing job of.
yeah.
What a natural there. Um, and then I think I think what's amazing is both those films they come from the same cloth, but they're just kind of cut a little different. Do you know what I mean?
Right. They are, but they involve all of us.
Yeah.
It's like songwriting, you know?
Yep.
It's like the Beatles. It's like each, you got George, you got Paul, you got John. No offense to Ringo. But it's a way where it's like someone's taking lead, but we're still being ourselves.
Right, right. And it's like it's like two songs on the same album, but one's maybe a ballad, and one's maybe kind of like a heavy rocker, but you still know it's that band. It's that band.
Exactly. There's still a fingerprint of each other on there. So, Xander, I gotta ask you this question. So,
Sure, bud.
with you, doing the ghost hunting and the many different things, like when you're meeting people and so forth, and some people are following with you, some are not. You find the will to pursue because of your passion. How did you and John connect?
Uh How did we connect, or how do we connect?
Or like, no, oh, sorry. How did you guys? Okay, how did you guys meet? Like, how did you connect to do the like when we did Black Diamond? Like, how did that relationship start to happen? I kind of want to
Oh,
I guess more of the questions like a little bit of our origin of what's going on, like how this all's coming to place.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's good, dude. It was through Facebook, and it was through some group, I believe. And uh, I think we were just talking, and just and we were just like, "Oh, you're a paranormal investigator? Yeah, oh yeah, fuck yeah, dude, I love it." And it just kind of went from there. And
yeah.
I don't know how long we did that before. I think it was a couple weeks actually. On like, I think it was on a group page, and I believe it was maybe on some equipment on one of the pages that I was like trying to buy or something like that. And he was like, "No, don't get that. Get this." And
And John,
then
and that sounds like John. John is legit, dude. He'll tell you
yeah,
what's
he
up, dude.
totally is, man. He'll
He is legit,
yeah,
dude. Don't do
he's
that. Do this. Yeah.
right. And that's totally John. And it just kind of went from there. And then I'm like, I like this cat. He's really cool. I'm like,
Yeah.
and then my next thought was, I want to build this group back up. And John has landed in my lap for a reason. Again, there's purpose to it.
Right.
And so then I was just like, I put up a thing on Facebook. Hey, I'm gonna be doing some filming. I'm going to Black Diamond. I'm gonna do that like in a week. And then I remember he just chimed in. He's like, "Dude, I would love to go. Let's do this."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, let's do it." He
Yeah.
goes, "Hey, I'm gonna bring my good friend Christopher too." And I remember him saying, he goes, "Christopher is still a little new to this, but he is a total born natural, and he just has this thing about him. Like, fuck, bring him, man. Let's do this." And that's when, the four of us went, and that's what really solidified everything. And like, it's like we just knew each other. We were like all just hanging out, just all getting along
Chemistry.
really well, and just
Chemistry.
our yeah, and our
Yeah.
investigation, the way we investigate, it's like any investigator, we're all slightly different, but
Right.
it all connected, and it all made purpose to all of us,
Right.
and hence that's why we're here, all of us right now. But
And I'll say this, man. And some people will ask, well, what's been the biggest success of you know what we're doing? And I'll tell you this. I told John, it's like the biggest success is whatever happens with the films that's been done, the podcast. The biggest success for me personally is the relationships built to this.
100 million, I mean, those, dude, 100 billion%. Like I
And
said
you
before,
can't
you
you
guys are,
can't buy that. You can't buy that. I don't care how much money
nope,
we make or whatever that happens. It's the relationships because that's something you
right.
cannot buy.
No, I would trade it all in the world if it was going to jeopardize anything or come in between our relationships as being brothers. And, and yeah, and I think for the people out there listening, speaking of relationships, in the year plus that we've been together as a group and known each other and got to know each other and got to love each other and like each other and know each other's quirks and each other's this, we've learned a lot from each other. And we've weathered little mini storms together. We've weathered kind of a little bit bigger ones,
Oh yeah,
but we did it very maturely, and we did it with very much open communication
absolutely.
and just being very honest with each other. And that builds respect, where you go, God, not only do I love and like that guy, but I totally respect him,
Well, you
you
know what?
know?
Too, I'll give you credit to this. I won't forget about a month ago, maybe less than a month ago, when I was kind of bitching. We are all texting each other, and you came out with like this tough love. It was like, it's almost like it's like snap out of it, slap in the face, not in a
Yeah.
bad way. It's like you're right. Oh my
Well,
gosh,
it's like,
thank
right.
you,
And
thank
that's
you. No,
how,
no, and that was love, and I gotta say, and I say
that
that
was love,
because
dude.
yeah, yeah,
That was
and
love. And
it,
it's a
absolutely,
perfect example of it.
yeah.
Perfect example of love.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Yeah,
I mean, sometimes that has to happen when two people love each other, and one person, you have to kind of just, you got to tell it how it is, and tough love is there for a reason.
yeah,
It exists for a reason.
It's also a dying
And
art. I mean,
right,
really, it
it's
is.
totally it's
It is.
yeah, it's totally a dying art. You're so right about that. It's
Yeah.
like it's 100% a dying art, and which is kind of sad, but oh well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we can go a whole another path on that one. So Xander, and I know we've talked quite a bit. One of the things I want to ask to you is with what we're doing with the project, and I want to say I know we're all as a team, but you've really led this endeavor. Um,
Hmm.
and even though we're all equal on top of it, I
Yes.
still think you're a very origin the person who originated just because of our um, origin story that we talked about. What do you want to accomplish? What is something you want the public to know with the films? What's important that you want to hopefully say with the films that are being produced? What is it? I mean, it could be
Um,
a long manifesto, it could be a short conversation. Yeah,
okay, so let me say this. Um, I firmly believe in what we're doing. I think we've kind of, in little trials and tribulations, kind of fell into our stylistic way of doing our movies.
Mhm.
And this is what I tell people too that haven't seen them at all and that are, that I'm like hand my card to, or they're like, they say something or whatever. It's like, hey, yeah, this is what I do, and they're like, oh, really? Tell me about it. I'm like, well, did you ever see the Blair Witch? And they're like, yes, because everybody's seen it, right? It's a perfect way
I don't care
to
if it's
kind of,
fiction. I still believe it's real.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
some shit in there that's like, even when it was fiction, is like, they fucking did a good job at the end of that movie. And I tell people, I'm like, they're like, yeah. And I'm said, well, we're not like that, but we are. We're very found footage style. We don't have a big camera crews following us around. Um, Zach Vegas. um, we we are us. It's like we have the three of us, and then we have now one cameraman, Josiah, who just kind of helps us get angles and stuff like that. But it's just us in our
Great kid, by
element.
the way.
Yeah, really good kid. And it's just us knowing that we have that limited, you know, kind of arena that we're in, but we make the best of it because we're always projecting and thinking ahead, especially me from a producer or directorial point of view. Like, okay, so we're gonna go do this, but how can I make this shot good where it's gonna be compelling, even if we don't get what we're seeking, you know? And it's how can it be engaging? So it's like, our movies are very found footage style. They're
Very much
very,
so. Very much so.
and we've just introduced the two different styles where John is very found footage with minimal narration and just very, here it is, and it's very raw and very killer. And on here I am on the other side, it's still in the same band, but here I am doing, the hard rock song where it has,
Yeah.
it has
Yep.
it has more narration, it has, a lot more, and it has more, you know storyline and just different things that you can follow in that area, both very engaging but both very different in the same way.
Mhm.
So it's, I see it, like I really see it just getting, each movie just getting better and better. And I don't mean like more, like better, like, oh, we got this much money so we're going to buy 10 cameramen.
No,
Not that way.
I know exactly what you're saying. I think it's in the way we're saying it's going to be better because it's like it's again. I go back to the band thing, where it's like we're getting to find our bearings, and then we're able to mold it and really get it to our best parts of us that's molding together to really share the story that's gonna really be raw. It's gonna be honest. It's gonna be real, and it's gonna
Yep,
be extraordinary.
dude, you're exactly right. And that's, you just said two things that are very strong elements in our films. It's raw, it's honest. We try to make you, that's why we keep it within the proximity of very found footage style. It's here, it's us, because we want to make you feel like you're with us right there sitting. Oh, it's like, we want to give you that feeling that you're right there sitting in the group with us, sitting by that gravestone, experiencing it, and I think that's very compelling to people.
You know, too, honestly, and tell me if I'm off base here. I would love to welcome even the criticism of it because I know some people are like, oh, when people criticize, well, that's fake, that's garbage, and this and that. It's almost like I want that. I want because
Mhm.
to me, it's an engagement, it's a conversation. It's like I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. I'm here to like, I'd love to hear more.
Right. And you and I both know this from being in the music industry
Yeah.
that even if it's a bad song, if people do this, it doesn't matter. They're doing this.
I,
When they're not doing that is when you worry.
it's
Bad
called
to
the Howard Stern effect.
right. It is, dude. It is. And sometimes people are drawn to more like if we got massively bad shit on our film and criticized bad or something, I would be like, I would be, you know, bring it on.
Thanks for
Welcome it. It's like,
thanks for watching.
yeah, thanks for watching. Because
Yeah.
either way you get it, either way, numbers are going to go up because people are going to want to know why. Like, why did that guy say just bad shit about it?
You know what's fun?
And they're going to,
You know it's fun. I have a joke. If someone did that in about Chris in the film, I'm gonna do like a fake HR and say, "Well, thank you for your feedback and so forth. Please reach out to John Hershey at this email or his phone number, and definitely connect with him to share more of your comments and concerns." He'd be so pissed.
oh, Johnny, babe, my little
Sorry,
hooker, you've become,
I had to say that joke, dude. I was like,
yeah, that's funny too, because that's a little bit of our, that's a good example of
yeah,
how our dichotomy works. It's like kind of
exactly.
off the cusp, like, oh, well, John, you're now HR. Let's send it to them. Oh, Chris, let's not tell them we started an email for him. We're gonna have send everybody there.
Who is this? Fuck your film. Well, fuck you.
Oh my god, it'd be so priceless to just see his reaction. Just like some guy,
Oh,
people were
dude,
emailing me and saying that.
he would welcome it. He would welcome it. He'd be like, I have
I know he
recently
would.
used my hatchet.
He'd be like, do you want to come hang out with me with my guns in my garage?
Oh my God.
That's
Let
so
me show you my
funny.
gun. I'm on the reservation. There's no laws here, buddy. Sorry. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
dude, that's so funny.
Oh my God. Sorry. I got tears in my eyes. Sorry. But
Yeah, that's a good one, dude.
anyways, I know we spent quite a bit
So
of time. Yeah.
I'll close it with this, with
Yeah,
that topic that,
I was going to ask you, yeah, what do you want to close with? Definitely share what you want people to hear, what your final thoughts are.
so my final thoughts are it's easy for me to project where this is going. And I'll tell you why it's easy for me because I've seen what we've done, I've seen what we can do, and we're just beginning.
Mhm.
We are going to capitalize, even if it's a cult following, we're going to keep making these and we love doing it and we keep growing and they just keep getting better in certain areas where the story gets where the synchronicities start to follow. We start to really challenge them and go down them and connect them. It's connecting dots and going down these rabbit holes. It's like when I close my eyes and think about what the next film's going to be about, it excites me.
Yeah.
Like it excites me. And the next one after that, the next one, it's like, because I know that we have our own style and we have our vision. And it's just so easy. And it's exciting for me to think about it and go, I want to share this with the world and kind of turn it over on its own little plate and go, look, here you go, you guys. Take it, love it, hate it, wipe your ass with it, but you're going to watch it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. So before we end this, Xander,
Yes, sir.
what I'm going to need from you to help me out with this. So everybody out
Mhm.
there, I'm gonna have Xander send me some links for the movies we have out there, and especially his own profile and so forth. If Xander, that's okay with you, I want to add that to the link to the podcast. I could definitely get
Yeah,
that from
dude.
you afterwards. You can speak to the messenger and so forth, because I think it's important for people to really we talk pretty kind of vaguely, but I think there's enough to really create interest to what we're talking about in those connections, and there's gonna be plenty more. So Xander, I'll definitely have you send that to me, and we'll put that on the podcast
Yeah, dude.
for
Because
people to.
I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean our film company, Stumpy Goat Films, which that's our film company. We have a website which I'll send that to you, which
Absolutely.
has and it
Everything.
has links to all of our movies and kind of little like brief stories and just like all kinds of good stuff on the
Perfect.
website. So
Perfect.
yeah,
Perfect. And I encourage everyone to take a look at it. And like I said, if you have compliments or insults, we welcome
bring
them.
them,
Bring them
bring
because you
them.
know what? Feedback is the best. We love
Oh
it.
yeah, dude.
We love it
You know
and
what
so
we
forth.
you know you know what we do with every single one of those? We
But
high five them.
and we
Oh yeah,
will.
you thought it sucked?
And
High
you know
five you.
what? You know what too? Even if people have criticism towards it, you're validated. And we love you. You know why?
Totally.
We love you because you have the courage to share an opinion.
Exactly.
And
Like I
I'm all
totally.
about that, by the way. I know you're about that too. We want to hear the feedback. We want to hear if it's great, awesome. If you're like you suck or this is BS, send it. We That's called freedom of speech. We want to hear it. We welcome it.
Yeah.
Why don't
And
you do it? Yeah,
it's not gonna be for everybody.
yeah,
It's not. And people are gonna break shit down or they're gonna go, wow, that was really interesting and fun. And I enjoyed it. Like I've already heard that quite a bit. I get
yeah,
people all the time telling me, dude, I love your film. It's so raw and cool. And like you guys are really getting some good stuff.
yeah.
I've had a little bit of feedback from people who are just like, and like it's just not for me, or I don't believe in that shit. I'm like, I don't care.
Well, it's okay. Gone to the
Thank
Wind
you.
got an Oscar, but not everybody's gonna watch it. You know,
I
some people
know,
like
right?
blondes, some people like redheads, some people like brunettes.
Right.
It's all good, man. Guess
It's
what?
all
We
good.
love diversity, and that's awesome.
Yeah. And
So,
and we, we
yeah,
welcome it. So
yeah. So, Xander, stay on for a little bit after we end it. Everybody,
yeah.
how can you reach us? With John and I is boundtotruth34 at gmail.com. In addition, like we said before, share your comments, concerns, insults. If you want to be a guest on the podcast or just to share your story, please reach out to us. This platform is yours. Also, hit the subscribe button with, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Buzzsprouts, YouTube, X. Again, the more you hit the subscribe button, the more it expands the platform. Again, everybody, this is about you. This is about the voice. We want everybody to be involved in this process. And yeah, we really appreciate everybody on the show today. And like as usual, we love you all. Until next time, see you on the other side.
See
Good
you.